Hi, and welcome to the Friendship Flow podcast. My name's Katy, and I'll be your host. My hope here is to create a space for women entering their wisdom years to learn about friendship from all their own personal experience and create the circle of friends that they desire and deserve. I hope to explore this subject with you so that you can explore what friendship means to you in your life. I created a 5-step approach to accomplish just that. 1, self-awareness. 2, connection. 3, boundaries. 4, growth. And 5, joy. Each episode, we will dive deeply into the steps and how to use them. So take a deep breath, grab a cup of tea, and let's get started. So this week on the Friendship Flow, we'll explore connection. What does connection mean in a friendship, which is a special relationship? After we've looked at self-awareness and have a clear picture of who you are at this point in your life, with the realization that it's different than any other time in your life. So we talked a lot about that in the last couple episodes that were all around self-awareness. Where are you and where do you want to go? And if you do look back at some of those friendships, you can see ones that maybe were there for a season, but just don't have any place anymore, and they naturally just dissolve themselves. Maybe you also have those friendships that are just hanging on, that you're not sure why you're still friends or if there's still a connection, but they're still in your life somehow. So these are the things that you have to figure out: where your friendship is now and where do you want it to grow. Some of the connections you may have had in the past might not even work now. And there may be connections that work now that you may not have needed in the past. If we can look at our connections as 3 compartments: the inner circle, the middle circle, and the outer circle. So the inner circle, you want your tribe, the ones that you can really open up to, that can be there. They're the ones, that you're calling at 2:00 in the morning, that and they know they can call you. They're the ones that, your ride or die friends. And then there's that middle compartment, that middle circle. Those are the people that you see, you have fun with, but they may not be the ones that you open up the most to. They may be interesting, creative, and, have a lot in common with them, but, they're still not in that most inner circle. And then there's the outer circle, all your acquaintances. Maybe you see people at meetings once a week or whatever, but they're just not in a deep relationship as far as a friendship. They're just more acquaintances. You have fun when you see them. You'll chat with them in the supermarket maybe, or, but maybe not the ones you'd call to go out for coffee when you're having an issue that you want to chat about. And these are the circles you really have to look at to know where you want to go. So who is now in your inner circle? Who is in your middle circle? And who are the people in your outer circle? Even take a pen to paper to really see it, if that helps. Or just sit for a minute with it and go over who are these people, and is it really the people that you want in those circles? And is it working in your life? Are you getting what you need? And are you giving in these relationships? What are the quality of friendships? What kind of friend are you? When we show up in a friendship as our authentic self, it allows other people to be authentic with us. That's where you build your tribe. When you're showing up as a persona you created because you feel like that's where you'll fit in, it's not sustainable. These are just stories we tell ourselves, and we have to figure out which of these stories are true and which ones are not. Take a minute to look at the friends you already have. Look at all these circles. Do you show up the way you would like your friends to? What can you do to take steps to teach your friends how to treat you and what you need from them? How can we care for our friendships with intention? So that's really looking at what are we giving and what are we getting? So have we kind of settled in on some of our relationships and allowed maybe one friend to take all the burden on? Maybe they're the person that makes all the dates and sets everything up for your connections. Maybe it's time for you to step up. Maybe that's just how the friendship works. But take a look at it. What can you do? How are you showing up? Are you giving enough? And how are your friends showing up? Are you getting enough? To back up a bit with the topic of connection, how do we make connections and bring those connections into our circle as relationships? How do we bring them from just a connection to a friendship? There's a formula that I've used as a life coach to approach this. So first, connect with your inner self. So just where we started, self-awareness. Really make that connection of who you are. And then be courageous. Take a risk. Put yourself out there. It's hard. It can be scary, but it's always worth it. Be authentic. The more you can show up as you, your authentic self, the more you're going to find your true tribe. Those people will be there if you can just be who you are. And then make the invite. That can be with anybody. Maybe in your book club, there's someone that you've wanted to connect with. Maybe say, oh, after book club, do you want to grab a cup of coffee? Maybe you chat with the girl at the coffee shop already and, you have something in common. Maybe take a class together, go for a walk together. Maybe your neighbor you say hello to every morning and you have so much in common, but you're always rushing right off. Maybe the next time you see your neighbor, say, let's get together for a walk after work today, or whatever. But make the invite. Put yourself out there and be the one to orchestrate the connection. In Daring Greatly, Brené Brown says that vulnerability is the core to making connections with others. This can feel risky and it can be scary, but the benefits are huge. When we are vulnerable, it allows others to be vulnerable with us. So taking that risk and stepping through the fear can bring people into your life that will provide you with social connection, that will bring you joy. for you to be happier, healthier. And because we are biologically social creatures, it will also help us live longer. So there's a lot of pluses there. Some friendships develop quickly. So for whatever reason, you just click and you become fast friends. Maybe you're both at a place in your life where you're looking for new friends to spend time with. You're both available and more easily accessible to each other. So like the neighbor next door, or, you end up at book club every week and it's just easy to see each other. When you fulfill an unmet need in each other's lives, so maybe by giving the woman up the street whose car is broken a ride, you've helped them when they've needed it. You've gotten closer and you become friends. Maybe the need is simpler than that. Maybe it's, you love movies, but none of your friends seem to like to go out to the movies at night. And you meet this person that is a big movie buff. Yeah, that's easy. You're in a situation that the usually standards for friendship progression don't apply. Like when you meet people when you're traveling and you feel like friends for life, after knowing them for a plane ride. Maybe you've met them just briefly online and you have such a good connection that you grow that relationship quickly. Friendships can also grow slowly when one or both of you are so busy in your daily lives already, and you already have so many friends that already fill up your calendar. You just don't have time to hang out constantly. You're in a situation where the usual standards for friendship progression don't apply, like when you meet people while traveling and feel like friends for life only after knowing them for that short trip. Friendships can also develop slowly. When one or both of you are so busy in your daily lives, or you already have so many friends who already fill up your calendar, you just don't have time to hang out constantly. But it does develop. It can develop. Maybe not as quickly, but maybe after seeing each other week after week at book club, it just something connects. Might not be instantly. You're not actively trying to grow a friendship with somebody. For example, they're just in your social circle and you get to know them better in little snatches here or there as you start to hang out. Eventually, even if it wasn't your intention from the start of the relationship, it may start to build into a deeper one. Whatever speed the friendship is going to develop at, don't try to rush it or force it toward a deeper level of intimacy. Let it unfold at its own pace. So before we wrap up today, I'd love for you to take a quiet moment and think about your own connections. Which friendships feel really good and nourishing right now? And which ones are out of balance, in need of some care? So just take some time to really let that settle in. Notice what connection feels like for you. Maybe it's lightness, laughter, a sense of ease. Or maybe there's a friendship that feels a little heavier or uncertain. Just notice without judgment. That awareness is where it all begins. Really look at all of your friendships. Again, the inner circle, the middle circle, the outer circle. Maybe there's people in that outer circle that you would like to be in the inner circle. As we open our hearts to deeper connections, it's also important to know where our energy begins and ends. That's what we'll talk about next time. Boundaries. Boundaries is a huge topic. Boundaries aren't about building walls or pushing people away. They're about honoring ourselves so that our friendships can grow in a healthy, authentic way. So next week, we'll explore what boundaries really look like in a friendship, how to set them with kindness, how to honor them in others, and how they actually help love and trust grow stronger. Until then, keep noticing where you feel most connected. That's your heart showing you where to grow. Keep showing up as a friend, the friend you want to have. That's where true connections begin. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep your friendship flow going. Thank you for listening to the Friendship Flow. I'm Katy, and I will talk with you next week.